What if one simple change to your morning routine could help your body burn fat more efficiently throughout the day? In this video, you'll discover a powerful morning insulin trick that may help accelerate weight loss by working with your body's natural fat-burning processes instead of against them. And before you assume this is another extreme diet, expensive supplement, or complicated workout routine, it's not. In fact, most people have never heard of this simple strategy, even though insulin plays one of the biggest roles in determining whether your body stores fat or burns it for energy. So if you've been eating healthy, trying to lose weight, and still not seeing the results you want, stick around, because this one morning habit could be the missing piece. Hey, I'm Michael, and for years I thought losing weight was all about eating less and exercising more. But no matter how hard I tried, I'd always seem to get stuck. I'd lose a few pounds, then hit a plateau, and the cravings were the worst part. It wasn't until I started learning how insulin affects fat storage that things finally started to make sense. After making one simple change to my morning routine, losing weight felt a lot easier. That's why I created this channel, to share the science-backed strategies that can help you avoid the same mistakes I made. Now, here's where things start to get really interesting. Most people think weight loss comes down to a pretty simple formula: eat less and move more. And yeah, calories absolutely matter. But a lot of weight loss experts will tell you there's another piece of the puzzle that usually gets overlooked: your hormones. And in particular, one hormone plays a huge role in whether your body is storing energy or actually burning it. That hormone is insulin. But before we get into the morning trick, you kind of need to understand what insulin is actually doing inside your body. Think of insulin like your body's energy traffic controller. Every time you eat, insulin helps move nutrients out of your bloodstream and into your cells, where they can either be used right away or stored for later. Without insulin, your body literally wouldn't know what to do with the energy from food. So no, insulin isn't the enemy here. The issue is when insulin stays elevated too often, for too long. According to Dr. Jason Fung, one of the biggest drivers of weight gain isn't just how much food you're eating, it's how frequently your body is getting the signal to store energy. And that's where things get kind of interesting. Your body basically has two fuel tanks. The first one is the food you've recently eaten, and the second one is the body fat you've already stored. So when insulin rises after a meal, your body naturally prioritizes that incoming fuel. Makes sense. If energy is coming in, there's no real reason to dip into stored reserves. But when insulin drops, your body becomes way more willing to tap into that stored energy. And that distinction matters, because a lot of people spend years trying to lose weight without realizing they're barely ever giving their body a chance to access that second fuel tank. Have you ever gone on a diet, cut your portions, and just felt miserable? Like you're hungry all the time, thinking about food constantly. Maybe you drop a few pounds at first, and then suddenly the scale just stops moving. Sound familiar? This is one of the big reasons so many diets fail. According to the explanation in the knowledge base, if insulin stays elevated, your body can actually struggle to access stored energy efficiently. So what ends up happening is you're trying to eat less, but your body is kind of resisting using the fuel it already has stored, which leaves you feeling hungry, low energy, and frustrated. That's why a lot of experts shift the focus away from just slashing calories, and instead try to create conditions where insulin can naturally come down. And this is where the morning hours actually become really important. So what do most people do within the first few minutes of waking up? They go straight for breakfast. Maybe it's cereal, maybe it's toast, maybe it's a muffin and coffee, or one of those healthy breakfast bars that seems fine at first glance. And honestly, it doesn't seem like a big deal. We've been told for decades that breakfast is the most important meal of the day. But here's something most people never really hear. Your body is already doing something pretty remarkable before you even make it to the kitchen. During the early morning hours, your body starts preparing you for the day ahead. several hormones naturally rise before you even wake up. One of those is cortisol. And yeah, cortisol gets a bad reputation, but in this case it's actually doing exactly what it's supposed to do. Its job is basically to help wake you up. And as part of that process, your liver releases stored energy into your bloodstream so you feel alert and ready to go. Think about that for a second. Your body is literally giving you fuel before you've eaten anything. It's almost like your body packed you a lunch while you were sleeping. And here's the surprising part. A lot of people aren't even that hungry when they first wake up. They're just eating because they think they're supposed to. And according to expert nutritionists, hunger isn't just about time since your last meal. It's heavily driven by hormones. Which brings us to the morning insulin trick. And honestly, the strategy is pretty simple. Instead of eating immediately after waking up, you delay breakfast for a bit. Not forever, not all day, just long enough to let your body keep using that energy it's already releasing naturally. By doing that, you're basically extending the time your body isn't getting a new influx of calories, which may help keep insulin lower for longer and give your body more time to tap into stored energy. And in fact, research found that people who delayed breakfast by at least 2 hours after waking saw improvements in insulin sensitivity and fat loss outcomes. Now at this point you might be thinking, okay, but won't skipping breakfast slow my metabolism? That's one of the most common concerns people have. And the idea here isn't to starve yourself. It's not about skipping food entirely. And it definitely isn't about feeling miserable all morning. It's really just about giving your body a little more time to use what's already there. Because remember, your body is already releasing stored fuel as part of its normal morning rhythm. So the real question is, do you immediately replace that energy with food? Or do you let your body use a bit of it first? For a lot of people, that small shift is where things start to change. But there's another piece of this that's just as important as when you eat. And that's what you eat. Let's say you do eat breakfast. What does it usually look like? For a lot of people, it's highly refined carbs, cereal, toast, pastries, sweetened yogurt, muffins, breakfast bars, convenient foods, fast foods. The problem is, these foods can spike your blood sugar pretty fast, which often triggers a big insulin response. And then what usually happens? By mid-morning, you're hungry again. You've probably felt it yourself. You eat at like 7 o'clock. And by 10:30, you're already looking for a snack. Then lunch, then another snack, then dinner. And maybe something after dinner. And before you know it, it feels like you've been eating all day long. So if you are going to eat breakfast, it helps to focus on foods that actually keep you full. Protein-rich foods, healthy fats, less processed options. Eggs are a great example. And traditional slow-cooked oats are another solid one, just not the super sugary instant packets. More like the minimally processed kind that still have their natural fiber. The goal is pretty simple. Stay fuller longer. Cut down cravings. Avoid that blood sugar roller coaster. And honestly, just make weight loss feel a little more manageable. Now, just to be clear, this approach isn't for everyone. If you have diabetes, take blood sugar medication, are pregnant, or have any condition that affects glucose regulation, you should definitely talk to your healthcare provider before making big changes to your eating schedule. Because weight loss is never one size fits all, and no single strategy works for everybody. So what actually happens when you apply this morning insulin trick consistently? Well, for most people, it's not some dramatic overnight transformation. It's more subtle than that. The process of losing weight just tends to feel easier. You might not feel as hungry. You might snack less without forcing it. and you might find it easier to stay in a calorie deficit without feeling like you're constantly fighting yourself. And over time, those small shifts can really add up. Because sometimes the secret isn't pushing your body harder, it's just understanding how it already works and working with it instead of against it. If you found this helpful, go ahead and hit the like button and subscribe for more videos like this. And in the next video, I'm going to break down something you probably haven't thought about before: the number one food nutritionists say to eat after 50. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you in the next video.